So what are the frame-based systems, right? We have talked about the frames in terms of a knowledge representation and frame-based systems क्या है आपके? Frame-based systems are type of artificial intelligence that use frames or structures to represent them. Right? So frame-based systems are a type of a computer systems. Here, simply we are talking about that is designed to help users organize and manage data. So here, what are the frame-based systems? They are the type of a computer system that are designed or that is designed to help the users to organize and manage our data, right? So these systems are become increasingly popular as they offer an efficient way to store our information in an organized fashion. So here the data has been stored in an organized manner. They provide users with the ability to quickly access, search, and modify their data sets. And here we are talking about the various features and the advantages in terms of a frame-based system. So we have talked about already that how these systems used in a, or if we talk about the different specific scenarios here, so these systems are we are using these systems in the finance, healthcare, education, and the research, and we are using here with the help of our different components, we will completely talk about here the working of a frame-based system. So it will also explain how the frame-based system works by describing the components that make up its architecture, simply about the slot facts, default values, and the procedure, as well as the benefits it's provide to the users. Additionally, we will talk about the challenges in a frame-based system. So what is a frame-based expert system? So if we talk about the frame-based, what is a frame-based expert system here? A frame-based expert system is an artificial intelligence program that uses a knowledge representation technique to store and reason with facts about the world. So simply, another topic we should know about the frame-based systems. Of here, specifically, we are talking about the expert system. So that use a knowledge representation technique is a frame to store and reason with facts about the words. It works on the basis of a frame. We have already talked about the frame, which are the structures designed to capture the relevant information from a particular domain, such as a medicine or a business, right? The AI then uses this information to solve the problem in its environment by providing advice or the recommendation. So for first here, we are talking about the knowledge acquisition. We are gathering the data, right? So here we are using a frame structures that capture the relevant information about a particular domain or a scenario. And here we are using this information to solve the various further problems, right? By providing the advice and the recommendation. The frame-based systems are using the object-oriented programming for their implementation and employ various frame languages like the KRL and the KLI for building their knowledge base here. So what are the frame-based representation? In the frame-based representation, each piece of a data is represented as a containing the slot, because in a frame base we are talking about the inheritance. So this we should know what we are talking about, the relational database concept. So in a frame-based representation or the knowledge representation where we are capturing a data about a particular domain or a scenario, each piece of data is represented as a parent class containing slots. We have talked about the attributes, the slots, the components of a frame with the specific values or the default values that represent the different aspects related to it, or simply the properties about a particular object. This allows user to organize a fact. We have talked about an advantage about the organized way of a frame, knowledge representation in a frame. So this allows users to organize the facts into the categories or a particular scenario and or a specific purpose here and relationship between them more easily than the traditional methods like the relational databases. So in frame based, we are talking about the object oriented approach or the programming here. In addition, frame based techniques are used in areas such as the robotics, we have discussed this, natural language processing, we have discussed this, and the diamonds of our brain lessons and even the space exploration, right? So here we are talking about the space exploration. Through the application of these techniques, experts can quickly identify the patterns within a complex data sets and draw meaningful conclusions from them. So here the techniques we are using so that we can infer or reason a system or the problems can or the new problem solution can be achieved. So in experts can quickly identify a pattern within a complex data sets here and from a complex data sets they are getting the insights of a data. So here we are talking about the application also modern medical imaging technologies to enable doctors to precisely target the tissue during a surgical procedure without damaging a nearby organ or a tissue. So here we are talking about the frame-based technology. So what are the advantage over a rule-based protection system? Now what is a rule-based protection system? We have talked about the first order logic or the predicate logic before the semantic. So we have seen the difference between the ontologies and a frame and the frames and the semantic network, but we have not seen the difference between a predicate logic. So frame-based are systems are the object-oriented expert system that uses the knowledge representation to model a problem domain here. These representation can be used for the data abstraction, which is just showing the essential properties about the data, and reasoning, allowing them to solve a complex problem, right? So because the detail is not present, frame-based systems are composed of a class definitions, which consists of both the slots for storing the individual piece of information and the fact which contain the rules governing how the slot value should be interpreted based on the data type, based on the attribute data type, and the various further constraints for a particular data. They also incorporate the inheritance system based on the first order logic and correspondence theory, which allow the frames to pass down their properties or characteristics to the other frames, also to the logical relationships, which gives the logical relationship between the frames. This enables the frame-based system to present a more complex structures also with the less code if we use a further procedural based system than the traditional rule based prediction system. So here simply you are talking about the difference between a prediction based system and the frame or the object oriented approach. So different level of inheritance are present here. Different level of rules are present here which provide a user the greater flexibility when we are talking about constructing a knowledge basis here. So frame-based systems having a number of advantage over a rule-based prediction system. They allow users to organize a large amount of information into a manageable unit and easily reuse the existing concept or the facts throughout the various parts of a program. Simply here we are talking about when there is a need of a big data to be captured in a system or then getting insights from a system, we are using here the frame-based. Additionally, they can provide an efficient way of representing the hierarchical representation between the objects by using the frame inheritance mechanism, thereby improving the accuracy and the scalability of our program compared to those written in a procedural languages when we are talking about a Java and the Python, right? Finally, we are not talking about here the Java and the Python object-oriented approach, right? We are talking about here the procedural approach. Then finally, the frame-based expert systems offer a powerful tool for knowledge representation and reasoning due to their ability to store a complex relation complex logical relations between the classes while still being easy to enough to understand by the non-technical persons. So here we are talking about the relationships based on the object orientation, based on the parent-child relationship, based on the inheritance. So what is the frame-based knowledge representation? So far we have talked about the frame-based knowledge representation is a type of intelligence or the artificial intelligence that allow a machine to understand and interpret the data by breaking down it into a number of frames or the submodules. And this type of a system is used in many different areas, such as the frame-based processing system for the satellite communication for a particular domain. Here we are talking about, and the frame-based group stereo biopsy system for the multifocal and the frame-based stereoactic biopsies for the frontal and the astrocytic brain lysomes. So here we are using it in a diagnostic also, as we have seen. The primary purpose of the frame-based representation is to sense out the complex information, right? Sense out of a complex, large amount of a complex information, or simply here we are talking about when there is a huge data, when there is a big data, we need to organize it into a easily understandable frames by representing the slots and the values here. Frame typically consists of a set of attributes of a value which describe the various characteristics associated with the various objects of the concept here. Or simply we are saying that when here we are talking about an example when trying to identify a particular flower species in agriculture, its shape or a color or a size and the habitat would all be included within a one about a particular flower description in form of a classes and the objects. In this way, the machine can use their properties to recognize objects or concepts more quickly than if each attribute has processed separately, right? So because with the based on a common structures, or simply here we are talking about the collection of a similar type of objects will be placed in a one class in a form of encapsulation, abstraction, and the inheritance. So it can work, the machine can work accurately or in an efficiently manner. In addition to helping the computers to process the data faster and more efficiently, frame-based knowledge representation also make it easier for humans to comprehend the complex data sets by providing the visual representations. Now here we are talking about the visual representations that offer insights into their structures and the relationships, or simply here we are talking about the analytics or the getting the insights of a data by breaking down the data into a smaller chunks. Simply here we are talking about the distribution of a data by by breaking the data files into a number of blocks. So by breaking down the data into a smaller chunks, people are able to make better informed decisions about how best to manage the resources or solve problems related to them. Particular block, particular data in a smaller chunks when we are talking about a huge amount of data. Ultimately, this helps individuals gain a valuable insights from the otherwise overwhelming data sets. Right? Now, what here we can say that if we are talking about a particular domain, so according to a domain, we can divide that data. We can divide the huge data sets into a smaller chunks in form of a frame, which will basically define the blocks, right? So in an organized manner, simply, so as we organize our items in a cupboard, here we are organizing the data, a huge volume of data into a number of frames, simply in a number of shelves, which include the slot and the data values. तो अगर हमें एक पर्टिकुलर डोमेन, एक पर्टिकुलर सिनेरियो, एक पर्टिकुलर स्पेसिफिक डोमेन और सिनेरियो पे ही वर्क करना होगा तो हम उसी पर्टिकुलर सिनेरियो और डोमेन के फ्रेम पे ही वर्क करेंगे, उसी के डेटा पे ही इंसाइट्स और एनालिटिक्स फंक्शंस को परफॉर्म करेंगे, प्रोसेसिंग करेंगे, जिससे कि हमें वैल्यूएबल इंफॉर्मेशन मिल सके उस पर्टिकुलर फ्रेम की। और फर्दर जैसे रियल वर्ल्ड सिनेरियो आपका या रियल वर्ल्ड डेटा आपका जनरेट होगा, जो that is increasing very instantly, उस केस में you can modify the frame easily because एक module है. So why the frame-based representation is very useful? Because of a less complexity. So here again in the frame-based system, we are talking about the different frame-based system. Frame-based knowledge representation is very useful form of artificial intelligence that can be used to diagnose the tissue samples in a biopsies, right? It involves the use of a frame-based biopsies, frame-less biopsies and diagnostic tissues in order to make the medical decision. Again, we are grouping something. The main advantage of using this type of a system is its ability to accurately identify the disease by based on a frames by analyzing a large amount of a tissue data, right? By analyzing a large amount of the data quickly and efficiently, because here we are talking about a particular tissue samples in which the number of cells are there. By doing so, it allows for more accurate diagnosis than with the traditional methods such as the histologic diagnosis or the biopsy middle tier accessing. So here we are talking about the submodules. Here we are talking about the data that we are getting is basically we are breaking down that data, the large amount of a data into a smaller chunks. In a smaller chunks, here the same specified or the objects here or the cells or the tissues that are sharing the common properties will be grouped together. So another frame-based representation also has a benefit of being able to provide a better result than the providing the frameless system where there is a simply a data lake where there is a simple huge amount of data. Somewhere there is not a particular grouping according to a encapsulation, inheritance, or a particular value. So this is because the frame-based systems are able to incorporate multiple type of information from the different sources into their analysis, which gives them greater accuracy when diagnostic the pathological decisions. How? By grouping together, right? How? By showing the information based on a frame. Or simply in a simple language, you are showing that outline. Additionally, by utilizing AI algorithm, these systems are able to detect the pattern in a data much faster than the human could do this, even they are capable of doing on their own. So as a result, they can help the doctors in a medical diagnosis, make quicker decisions about the particular diseases, right? So it can help the doctors or in a diagnostic system. They can help the doctors to make the quicker and the more informed decisions regarding the treatment plan for the patients. Because how? Because the disease will be identified quickly. Who have been diagnosed with a certain illness, right? So this type of AI technology provides an invaluable tool for the healthcare professionals looking to improve the patient care outcomes through the important diagnostic capabilities. So simply it improves the diagnostic capabilities, or simply in a frame-based system, we can talk about the healthcare professionals are using the various expert systems for the diagnostic, for improving their diagnostic capabilities. Or simply when how we can say in an easy language that the frame-based systems in a healthcare, what are the frame-based systems in a healthcare and what they can provide. Uh, we can say that the frame-based systems in a healthcare could be a medical diagnostic support system. So here we are talking about improving the diagnostic capabilities. So simply here we are talking about it is a medical diagnosis support system where a patient symptoms are represented as a frames. Patient के जो symptoms हैं उसे हम frame से represent कर रहे हैं with slots for specific details like a body temperature, pain level, and the medical history, which allow the system to quickly identify a potential diagnosis by comparing the field slots to be predefined diseases frame. अगर पहले से कोई predefined diseases frame है with similar characteristics उस disease के भी characteristics same है, simply or essentially acting like a structured decision tree for diagnosis based on a patient data. Whatever the patient data you are having, in that case, we are talking about a diagnostic system, right? According to the data, according to a that patient data, here we are talking about that patient data or the patient systems will be presented as a particular frame with the slots for a specific detail about that frame, like particular pain level or of a temperature. So the type of a artificial technology provides an invaluable tool for the healthcare professional looking to improve the patient care outcome through the improved diagnostic capabilities by providing the frame-based systems in a health as a medical diagnostic support system. In addition to providing better accuracy in a diagnosis, or the speed at which these systems operate make them ideal for time-sensitive situations where a quick decision is needed to be made regarding the treatment options here. And furthermore, due to the fact that they utilize the sophisticated algorithms, also they utilize the sophisticated algorithms, they can often provide a more accurate result than the manual testing methods such as the biopsy needed or the historical examination alone could ever do. All in all, the frame-based representation proves itself a valuable asset for improving the patient health outcomes and saving lives on the daily basis. So, what are the frame-based system we have talked about? और अगर हम frame-based system को अलग तरीके से अगर identify करना चाहें, तो what we can say it is simply a database technology, which utilize the terminologies like the logics and the feature logics combined to create the attributed concept descriptions. Or it has been used mainly in the computer vision application, in the applications we have talked about, such as the stereoactive needle biopsies, where it can help with the needle irrigations or the structural testing for the medical procedure. These type of systems also use the equilibrium distance measure to compare the objects according to their size and the shape characteristics, and grouping them together according to their other additional properties according to their size and the shape characteristics also. So in addition, we are also talking about the frame-based approach, that this type of a technology has found outside of a medical fields too. For example, it uses when collecting a feedback from the patient experience survey, allow for more accurate processing of the data, what is traditionally available in the paper-based surveys. Similarly, this form of representation can be applied to other areas, including the marketing, research, online customer services, and the product sales analysis, or simply when we are talking about the data analyst approach for improving the business, for getting the insights of a data, for the decision making of a particular, improving the business and the business intelligence, as a result of which the insights into a form of consumer behavior can be gained quickly in a faster manner, in an efficient manner, and accurately also by using the frame-based approach. Due to its ability to generate the detailed information about the various subjects quickly and accurately, the frame-based approach has become an increasingly popular choice for among the businesses or in the business intelligence that require the fast access to qualify the information about sacrificing the accuracy. It uses continue to expand across many industries also due to its numerous benefits, how it offers a great potential for the organizations who are looking for way to gain greater insights into their consumer-based operation also. Or simply, what is the frame-based application? Is frame-based application is a type of a text understanding technology used to process and interpret the natural language. So here we are defining how we can use it in the natural language processing as the frame-based application is a type of application of a text understanding technology which is used to process and interpret the natural language. So it employs the various computational complexity methods such as the terminological reasoning, attribute decision formalization, attribute description formalization, closure device testing, also in order to accurately understand the input signals. Testing reforms has been ongoing project due to its accuracy limitations when compared with the frameless applications. So somewhere we are talking about here about the challenge also. It has also managed to reach a very high accuracy rate considering the amount of a data that need to be processed. So here again, this form of a data analysis requires a high level sophistication in order for its work properly. So the frame-based application needs extra time for processing a large amount of unstructured information, which can be due to the poor accuracy result if not done correctly. Why we are talking about the unstructured form of representation? Because firstly, it needs to be converted into a proper structured format. And then we are talking about a large amount of our data. So simply here we are talking about a big data, where we have talked about the three types of a digital data: unstructured, structured, and the semi-structured. So frame-based, if we are talking about a frame-based application, we need extra time for processing a large amount of a unstructured form of a data for the images, videos, and all, which can lead to the poor accuracy result if not done correctly, right? So additionally, there are certain parameter needed for this kind of a application, such as a context knowledge or the prior experience, so that the appropriate decisions can be made about the meaningful of the particular text being analyzed. So here, this makes the frame-based application more suitable for the specific task where accurate output is required from a given set of inputs rather than general purpose ones like searching the online databases or the web pages. So due to better accuracy rate when compared to with the other form of a text understanding technologies, and its ability to handle the complex input quickly, or simply the when we are talking about a complex input quickly, we are talking about the data capturing in form of a number of formats, right? So frame-based application remain popular today among developers looking for efficient solution in their projects related to a natural language processing. So researchers have continued working on improving the accuracy and the speed performance while maintaining good quality results in the large data sets. Because now our need is getting the insights from the larger data sets, not from the smaller data sets. So simply in a frame-based systems, we have talked about the frame-based applications only in a detailed manner about the healthcare, about the natural language processing. So frame-based systems are the advanced form of AI, artificial intelligence, that are capable of providing the expert advice and insights to a variety of areas. Their advantage include the ability to represent the knowledge in an organized way, which enable them to be more efficient than the rule-based production systems. And frame-based representation is very useful due to its modular approach, which allows the flexible, extensible, and the scalability to process the complex tasks with a high accuracy. The frame-based approach provides a structured way also for representing a knowledge where we are getting a capturing a knowledge in a number of formats, and they are basically converted into a structured way, as well as organizing exiting data into a frames. This system can also use in applications about the machine learning, robotics, natural language processing. and it gave us the more advantage over the production rule-based systems, and frame-based systems offer many benefits here because it is faster, more accurate results, highly scalable, highly flexible when dealing with the different types of a data, with the different types of a format. As technology advances, so these systems were is also giving us the more accurate and the expert advice here. Simply, today we have talked about the frame-based systems in a detail, right? So, what are the frame-based? What is the how the knowledge is represented using a frames in a artificial intelligence? They are more structured form of a packaging the knowledge used for presenting the object in the concepts. They are organized into hierarchies, network of a frames. Lower level frames can inherit information from the upper level frames in our network. So they are using the inheritance. Nodes are connecting using the links also. Links between the two classes of a frame, one of which is a subclass of the other or simpler parent relationship. Here, or simply when we are talking about the faculty class, the faculty is a science faculty, can be faculty is a kind of a relationship. Here we are talking about is a science faculty is a faculty, so connects a particular instance of a class frame. Like here we are talking the example of a Renika is a science faculty. A part of our relationship connects two classes frame, one of which is contained in the other, or simply a faculty class is a part of a department class, right? Faculty will be a part of a particular department. Property link of a semantic network is also replaced by the slot fields here. A frame may have many other number of slots needed for describing objects. Faculty frame may have a name, age, address, qualification, etc. And each frame includes other two basic elements, that is the slots and the facts. We have talked about the slots. Slots contain more and more facts for the fillers, which may take many forms, such as the value of a slot or the default value of a slot or the range or the damage or the procedures if needed, deleted or added here. This we have talked about, and here we are talking about a frame network here. In this, you can see that the university, the department, the faculty. Faculty is a part of a department. Department is a part of a university. Hostel is a part of a university, right? Science faculty is a faculty, right? Kind of a relationship here. And science faculty here is a verify is a science faculty, right? And simply a name of a hostel is the description of a frame. Each frame represents either a class or an instance. We will talk about further this in another lecture. And in another lecture, we will talk about, in a tomorrow lecture, we will talk about the forward chaining and the backward chaining. The most important representation is the AI or the approach.